Hey, Hodies. Today, we're going to talk about what people say on their deathbed. And I think this can shift you into gratitude real quick and maybe make you see what you're taking for granted. And that's easy. That can be easy to do when maybe you think you have time. And that's one thing I think a lot of us can take for granted, time. Time that we have here to experience this life and not do the things that maybe we really want to do, or spend time with the people who maybe if we did have one day, 1 week, 1 year left, we would look back and say, man, I wish I spent time with this person more, that person more, or what else? I wish I pursued this. I wish I said this. I looked into it just briefly, and the biggest one was, I wish I didn't care so much and pursued what was really in my heart. I think that was the majority of what most people were saying on their deathbed. AC time. Sorry, hotties. This is the biggest one that I've seen most often. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I wish I didn't work so hard. Ooh, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Often they wouldn't. There's more to this. I'm actually just noticing I'm just reading the first lines. Well, some of this, oh no, I don't really care to read all. Some of these are paragraphs. Okay. I wish that I had let myself be happier. I'll read more on this one. This is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. Fear of change had them pretend to others and to themselves that they were content. We're here to evolve, bodies. All right, let's read more. Oh my God, this is deep. This is deep. It's like the last words, I think these are some of the truest things people can say, because it's the last, you really know it's coming from the soul if it's the last thing that's coming through before you transition, Okay, finally we found some new ones. But it makes sense that there's just a main, handful of things that a lot of people think about or look back and say, maybe I would have done that a little different. I got things to say already. Okay. I wish I wouldn't have compared myself to others. I wish I'd taken action and dove in head first. I wish I'd tuned the world out more. I have no problem doing that. That won't be a regret of mine, if you're wondering. I wish I didn't wait to start it tomorrow. I wish I'd taken more chances. I love this. I don't love it, but it's... Does this not show you that? I think some of these things are some of the most hard things to do. Not for absolutely everyone, but for a lot of people. I wish I would have kept going. I wish I told others how much I love them. That's one thing. When people hold back their love, whether you're holding back something that you want to say, man, it all comes down to love. Any type of holding back. That's even more stressful. Okay. I wish I was content with what I have. Because if not, you are always going to remain in that vicious cycle. That's a big one. That's everything. That's everything. Because we know it's about the journey. I wish I took better care of my body. That is a huge one too, because, okay, it's about the journey, it's about the day-to-day. Well, how are you going to feel day-to-day? Because in this life, we have a vehicle. And if you're not putting the right fuel into it, how are you going to expect to feel lifted? How are you going to expect to operate at your optimum reach, your fullest potential? Because it really does. If you're not taking care of your body, that's going to affect your mind. That's going to affect your spirit. It's going to make things cloudy. It's crazy. You truly can tap in deeper when you take care of your body, 100%. And it's specifically that. It's specifically fueling your body, not even talking about mind. That's a whole video, okay? But the mind is inside the body. It's all interconnected, so. I wish I'd listened to others more. Okay, let's read this. Everyone thinks that they're right all the time, and everyone has opinions in that, and they sometimes force on others. Why does it say I wish I'd listened more then? It's all right to have them, but it's more important to have the ability to listen. I knew I disagreed from the jump. Let's finish the sentence. Even if you don't agree with the point of view, challenge yourself to hear others without passing judgment. I would say more often you got to tune into you and be confident in making your decisions, but that doesn't mean that there is, I don't know, a significant percentage and an amount that you would take others' opinions into consideration. And this really depends on your path and what you're doing, but I think it could look different for everyone, because maybe this person is saying that because they didn't have the willpower, or they didn't believe in themselves enough to listen to themselves. And so maybe someone was trying to encourage them to listen to themselves. And maybe that's why they're saying, oh, I wish I'd listened to others more. I mean, you kind of need context here, because I mean, you could simply see that as connection and just speaking with someone. Because some people will just, when you're having a conversation with them, oh my God, this is another episode. A lot of people can easily just make it about them and turn it, when you're having a conversation, that's natural. You're sharing maybe both of your experiences and your perspectives, but some people do that very, very often. I guess too much of anything's not a good thing, right? Or they will never, maybe they'll talk more and then you don't even get a word in, right? And maybe this person was that kind of person. I don't know. Okay. I wish I'd have not held that grudge. This can ruin so many relationships. Because people aren't communicating, because people are not being open, speaking their heart, being honest about their feelings and coming to a good place. Sometimes you just grow apart from people, but sometimes people do hold grudges. Sometimes people do feel some kind of way about something you said, something you didn't say, to this and that. And it's like, we're all so different. Or maybe, the reason that there's a grudge or some animosity or whatever you want to say between two people, it could be because they are both assuming different things. And so you see that lack of communication is so important. And it could be something as simple as a conversation, but it really takes someone being the bigger person and willing to talk it out. If you care to. If not, maybe you're just not right for each other. So I wish I'd have traveled more. Yes. The world is full of beauty, and we should see it. We should see it. And if that's something you really want, you can find a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. I wish I'd have laughed it off. That's a huge one too. Don't take life so seriously. And I think people often do take things, they let them weigh heavy on them. And that is simply a choice. You can literally drop that weight at any moment. I wish I'd left work at work for only 40 hours per week. I could see how people see, and each to their own, because I could see, I'm thinking, say someone's a dancer and say it's work for them and it's play and it's everything. That's natural for some people. That is the way for some people. And some people disagree with that. And I think that's where people go wrong, where they think they have to do something that's not really them. We're not supposed to be the same. We're not. But maybe this person, this can get deep. If they're talking like 9 to 5 vibes, that's a deeper, like, first of all, were you doing what you loved, or were you, humans are hardwired to work and provide for the ones they love. Okay. Each to their own. Each to their own as far as what they were doing for work. This can get, wow, there's so many examples here. I wish I'd left work at work. If your work is not your play, I guess that's understood. Because some work to people is more playful, and to some people maybe that's not exactly the case, and they have more hobbies that they don't consider work and that they choose to not make work. I know that I've heard people say that they're passionate about certain things and they were like, I would never make that a business. I would never make that. I love when people know themselves. I love when people sound so confident they know themselves. So, again, each to their own. We've read that. This one, I wish I was more aware of the real world around me. All I'm thinking of is being in this digital world and being consumed by these devices. And with time, I just become more distant from them. And this is so powerful because a lot of people are so disconnected from the real world due to this, and because of the way the world operates nowadays, with, being able to connect with people who aren't close to you. It's just not realistic. Like, you kind of have to go through email or call or phone, text, for work. So, but again, balance. And God, I feel like this is a more rare breed nowadays. Like, people who love meeting people who are like, I don't have social media. Fire. I think it works great for some people if you want to use it as a tool. I think it doesn't work great for a lot of people because they abuse it and they use it as, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Not in a healthy way, right? And then there's some people who are like, I know that's not for me at all, in any amount, period. And then sometimes people change over time and they decide to join or leave. I wish I trusted my intuition. I wish I ran with a better crowd. I wish I walked the walk. Period. Oh my God, that's far too many people are good at vocalizing the life they want, but are horrendous at putting a plan to action to get there. It's not enough to dream loud or quietly in your head. Yep. Honestly, I'm not getting too many other answers, but I think we all know that, I mean, I don't want to say we're limited, but we are. I mean, we're human beings, right? And so you can only, in this experience on earth, I do think there are a lot of things that are valuable to us and how we want to spend our time here. And so taking the risk, taking the jump, connecting with people. I'm sorry, I'm just like, it's so thrilling. Finding the people and making that a priority, because clearly what these people are saying is, man, I wish I made that a priority. I wish I valued that more. I've been thinking about this lately. I want to look back at my life and be like, damn, that was a good life. And if you stay too comfortable, you are moving further and further and further from that. Think about, I don't know, the last year, 2-3 years that you've had on this earth. Were you super happy with that? And, it's not like that's fully up to us, right? The flow. But, because as I've said before, I think what you chose is not always the flow. So you kind of have to surrender to that. Sometimes but sometimes life is full of surprises. But sometimes we don't have the freedom to move how we want in certain periods in our life due to the flow and how our story is supposed to go. So it doesn't mean that you are not in the right. If you look back and say, man, I wish it was like this, this, and that. Well, maybe the person that you're trying to meet or the place you're trying to be, maybe that's not in your path yet. Person or people or things, activities, environments, things that you want to do in life. Maybe it's not time yet. But clearly a lot of people are staying too comfortable. And I think we all know that time flies. So it's like, what are you doing today that's going to make you look back and be like, oh, that was fire? Because here's one of the biggest. Or maybe I would say the best times that you can have in your life are priceless. And what I mean by that those are cheap thrills. Those are not costly. And maybe just because I feel like someone could think, oh, well, that one rare time I was on a yacht, it was super fun. Yeah, duh. But you don't have to be there to have such a blissful experience. Maybe you could be somewhere else and have the same amount of joy. And so you have to always ask yourself, it's not about where you're going to get, it's about how you're spending all of the days right now. Because again, later, if you're thinking it's going to come later, which a lot of people think it's going to come later, the destinations that we have in our head, once we achieve this, once we get that, once we retire, whatever people say, that's such an illusion. It's such an illusion. How do you know it's going to play out that way? How do you know you're going to feel great? And not that achieving things can't feel great, but the point is you are waiting. The point is you are waiting and you're passing these days up and you're like, oh, those are going to be the best. Today can't be the best. Yesterday, tomorrow, it's going to be different. And you're not valuing these days like you are those. But what if it's not what you think? Because I think a lot of the times that's the case. People say, oh my gosh, there's so, like Jim Carrey. He was like, I wish everyone had this, that, and achieved this and that, and realized it's not what they were really looking for. Again, the whole more money, more problems, more stress, I'm sure. Not that you can't have stress now, but the point is, it's about the ride. It's not about one time. It's not about one thing. Life is not about one thing. It's about the whole experience. It's about many things. But no pressure. And that's where the stress comes. When you put pressure on you, it's like, break it down, make it simple. Enjoy today. What can you find today that you can appreciate and that you can make into gold, that you can make an experience and create the feeling that you want in those times right now with what you have? Because that is always an option. That is always an option. That's it for today, Hottie.